Hey, pre-notification gang. Why you never play Rust? What are you talking about, man? It's only been 2 days. Good lord. You were in Rust event and don't play. Do you speak English or something? Like, what's going on? What What are you not understanding? It's been 2 days. I played 6 days in a row. What are you talking about? Holy shit. God damn. It has been not even 2 full days. Incredible. Incredible. Thanks for the gift sub, Luck. So this is going to be with Levy, not Daniel today. Thanks to the resub, Toad Blasts. I can't do dildo trick shots on Twitch. I've asked multiple times, they don't let me. Thanks to resub Unison, the Prime. Genius. And the Prime Boys. Thanks to the resub Monster Shark. I'm doing alright, man. Hope you're doing well. Thanks to the Prime Eps. I'm doing alright, Goat. Hope you're doing well, man. And thanks for a long time watching, Fryland. An art stream? Fuck no. I'm terrible at art. And it takes me a long time. Thanks to the Prime Night March. How long are you expecting it to take before you get to Grandmaster? Maybe like another month-ish, I'd say. Would be a conservative estimate. Thanks to Tier 1 Cloud. My plan for tonight? We have chess lesson with Gotham Chess Levy. And then after that, I'll take a break and then come back tonight probably with Rust. Thanks to Tier 1 Overlord. No, I can't sing that. I'm not trying to get DMCA, Jake. Yeah, it just takes so long, Chase. Like for me personally, just to make even the smallest like figure takes tens of minutes. It's terrible. At least you're good at it though, Chase. I'm terrible. Thanks to the Prime Tiger. Well, congratulations, Alex. That's great. Thanks to the Prime Riven and Rango. How many games do you need to win to get to Grandmaster? It's only like 10 games, I think. It won't be long, is what I'm saying. It won't be long. We'll get there soon. Thanks to the resub, Josh, and the Prime Dizzy. Do I think King Kong vs. Godzilla is going to be good? No chance. No, I don't think so. Thanks to the Prime Ski Mask. Oh, Ski Mask. And the resub resolution. Hikaru reached. Whoa, wait, what? Hikaru reached 3K in 24 hours with 320 wins? Holy fuck. I did not see that stream. That's crazy. Thanks to the resub, J Money, Merry Christmas, and Bobo. Oh, it's great to hear, Blazing. And thanks for the bits, Fox. I always delete the just chatting streams. Thanks to Tier 1 Lieutenant. I don't want to take any chances with any Twitch weird enforcements of their rules. And thanks for the bits, Rain. You look so tall. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Gyro, shut the fuck up, man. Just keep spamming play the game. I'm letting people get in here because it's just as much a lesson for them as it is for me. Hold my dick. Calm down. I'm sure you can sit still for 10 minutes. I'm sure your parents leave you unattended from time to time. You'll be fine, Gyro. Thanks for the gift sub, Stank. Thanks for the bits, good. Is that what it is, GTF? I still don't really like that, though. I would expect at least some changes. Like, if you're gonna change the name of them, I would expect the game to be at least improving or getting new things added to it. Thanks to Prime Debit. And thanks to the resub Krondor and Lolly. Maybe later, Overlord, but not something I've been, like, anxious to get back in.
Hello.
Big man, what's going on?
I'm just asking my chat to let me know if the sound sounds good. And do I sound okay? Because the last time I did this with Myth on Discord, it was not the right microphone. So let me know how I sound.
No, you sound very good right now. Very sultry.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I
the
love it.
recent person.
Last time we were on a call together, we got last place in Twitch Rivals. How's your Twitch Rivals career been since then?
I don't recall getting last place. I thought we finished in the, what was it, the top 3 or something like that?
It was a rough day, man.
Thanks to Tier 1, Ben.
Listen, I feel like I'm in an awkward spot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like I'm home wrecking a little bit. Do you mind just giving like a PSA for why it's okay that you're doing a chess lesson with another person and not Daniel Naroditsky?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I think it's important that we recognize Daniel and I are in an open relationship. He trains other people too. I've just been, kind of a little more loyal to him than he has to me is all. But I think if I'm going to be the grandmaster I was born to be, I've got to branch out and find greener pastures. Daniel and I were always going to be inseparable. but it's also important that we get our options open too. So I think having this lesson is going to be very helpful.
I love it. I love
Thanks to
it.
Tier 1 Cosmic and the Prime
I
Roz,
I also
the bits,
don't
Jensen.
like I when I was looking over on a serious note, all your
Let me
chests.
give some Cosmic.
I just wanted to know like just a little bit like run me up to speed of what it is that you guys like do in all of your lessons. I've obviously gotten them all over my YouTube feed and I pop in and everything, but do you focus more on your openings? Like what's been the past few sessions like? Just so I know.
Yeah, so before the first tournament, it was mainly like all of the basics, tactics, recognizing forks, all like the most basic stuff. For the upcoming tournament, he's been focusing more on getting me to understand openings and like get a pretty stable lock on good openings. So like for black, it's accelerated dragon, and we
Okay.
haven't started on white openings yet, but that's kind of where we've been heading, is just locking down a good opening strategy.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I looked over your file. I saw that with black you play Sicilian, and I'm not going to touch that because I know that was probably a narrow recommendation. And then I was going to give you some weapons with white to
Oh
start
yeah,
killing people.
that sounds
Um,
great. Thanks to resub, Brana.
You in live chess?
Yep, I'm in.
Okay, perfect. One thing I was just going to do strategy wise before we
Necro.
look at openings. I saw the most recent game you played, and I wanted to pull it up. It's actually a game you won, so I'm not like pulling up a game you lost to rub salt in the wound. But okay, I've sent an invite to Turbo Fisto.
Yeah, so this is from the public pool. Just embrace for some terrible chess. I've been doing 3-minute chess because one of my biggest weaknesses is time management, and I am fucking terrible at it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I have a video out on time management, and every time I play a competitive match, I'm constantly with 5 seconds on the clock. I'm really bad at following my own advice.
It's tough,
And
man.
it's really hard. It's really hard. Do you usually play 10 or 15-minute games?
So my most comfortable one is 10. 15 minutes is better, but 10's like the one that when I'm really trying to like climb, I'll do 10-minute games. But I've been really trying to get better at time, so I've been doing 3 and sometimes 5.
Yeah, like I was going to say
Thanks
with,
Prime
with
Dark
this
and
game
Moda.
in particular, you like I said, you won it, and you're gonna stick to E4 because you've played it up until you got to 900. Have you hit 1,000 yet?
Yeah, I was at 1100 about a month ago, and then I went on my 3-minute rampage and just completely fucking plummeted. Thanks for 5 gift subs, Prophet. Good to see you again, man.
More than okay. And by the way, when you learn new openings, I don't know if you've experienced this. Do you lose sometimes after you learn new openings?
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Okay, so just it might happen. So
thanks for tier 1, Sinsano.
In this game, everything was good. Like opponent did nothing in the middle of the board, so I like that you play, directly in the center of the board. And I was watching, like everything you did here is great. Opponent is already losing, and you castle knight f6, and you play rook e1 check because the opponent's king is stuck in the middle of the board, so you just go attack it. So I like that. Everything first instinct here is fantastic. Now, this happens. Blocking your pin.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to just be picking up on things like within seconds, especially if you're going to be playing 3-minute games. And in general, a good rule of thumb is like always go forward. So this game got a lot harder when you played this backward bishop move. And I just want you thinking all the time, especially when you're attacking, like ahead, ahead, ahead. So this is right now defended by this.
Right.
So how do we just actually if you find the move, you basically win the game on the spot.
Is it pushing bishop to d5, attacking the bishop, protecting the knight?
Yeah, and this is like completely game over.
Yeah.
Like
wow.
First of all, the threat is like to take, check. The second threat is this, and then like you have this, and okay, I mean you're gonna win everything. And I noticed like in games that are like 900, 1,000, 1,100, you will have a moment. As long as you make it out of the opening, you'll have a moment that you could just like win on the spot because these things happen. So this game in particular, I was like, I just pulled it up because I'm like, you got back and you started doing a lot of like simple moves, like bishop d3 attacking the knight, and you could have just took the head off like right away. Just
Yeah.
bishop d5, and even not bishop d5, something like here, just to go after this, because this is a threat. Like, for example, you take. Your bishop is so strong, it's not letting black castle. And this is you just straight up win the game on the spot here. Like,
Yeah,
they can
damn.
only block with. So just be thinking aggressive, like at all times, and you will be you'll be in good shape. The opening I'm going to teach you with white, I'll show you a couple of different ideas, and I think you'll like
Thank
it
you,
quite a
fuckboy.
lot. So let's just exit this so we don't have a name for the other guy. I have sent you. All right, so go e4. This is the opening you always play. Now, how often do you face this?
Oh, very frequently. That's what most people play at this level.
Okay. So you have a couple of options. I know that you play knight f3, knight c3, bishop c4, standard stuff.
Yeah.
People have been saying in my chat, I don't know how much I want to believe my chat, but they're saying that you've already spoken to Daniel about the Vienna.
He's mentioned it, and we kind of touched on it, but I haven't like learned it yet.
Okay. So the Vienna will be your secret to gaining 1,000 more points.
Oh.
You're gonna win.
Thanks for the 2 gift subs,
a lot of games.
Barumzi.
So you don't play knight f3. You play knight c3.
Okay.
So go ahead and slap it on the board. So here's the plan. You're gonna delay moving knight to f3 for a while. In fact, your setup that you want basically is bishop out first, and then you will put your d pawn up 1 square, which opens up your dark squared bishop, and you're going to move your f pawn 2 squares forward.
Okay, that's very interesting. All right.
So in a perfect world, it looks something like this. Like, let's just say black does their thing, and you get this. Take. Why is this good? Why is trading the f pawn beneficial?
Is it opening up this file for a castle, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
So you're going to end up with a rook open on this file. And if they don't take you, you can shove this forward, and this is blocked. Their bishop is blocked. You have a lot of space. My personal favorite is like
These are 3 gift subs,
the
Prophet.
connect 4, and then how strong your bishop is compared to how bad their bishop is.
Oh, that's a beautiful chain right there, yeah.
And this is, I wish you could get a fifth, but it's not going to happen. But you don't take. It's actually funny. You say, well, didn't you just say you want me to open that file? Yeah, but you also don't want to open their position.
Okay, that makes
So-
sense.
Right? You have like your pawn on f4. And the way you learn
Thanks to tier 1 blame
openings,
resub
like,
saying.
I don't know how
diabolical.
you've started studying the Dragon Sicilian, but this opening in particular, it's only the Vienna if they play e5. So if they play the Sicilian, you can still play a setup with knight c3, but that's called something else. That's called a closed Sicilian, and then we'll look at that. Like, I'll give you the Vienna, and then I'll also give you the Sicilian.
Thanks to the resub, Jord.
So you play knight c3, and the way this works is, well, play a move for black,
Okay.
basically. Play a move that makes sense.
Alright.
All right, beautiful. So this move specifically, knight c3, knight f6, you add the layer of spice to the Vienna. You got the Vienna gambit.
Oh, okay.
So move your f pawn now. Why? Because if they take it, what are you going to do with the e pawn?
Oh, you're just gonna push the e-pawn?
Yeah, go ahead. So push it. Well, where's the only safe square for the black knight?
Right back to the start, g8.
Right back to the start. If they move their queen to pin your pawn to your king, what's your first instinct? Like, you can't take, but how do you counteract this?
You just block it with the bishop, right?
So bishop or queen, there's a slight difference.
Okay.
Because this is a threat.
You have to protect the pawn, so it has to be the queen, right?
Yeah, if you play
Okay.
with bishop, yeah, and this is, I get a lot of questions like this. What if they play queen? I'm like, just copy them, and they got to move their queen back. Their knight
Okay.
back, sorry. Let me just show you something sick that can happen here. If
Thank you
this
for the
knight
5
goes
gift
back,
subs, Cursed. In the tier
because
1
you've
press.
moved your f pawn early, your king's a bit weak. So this could be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So before you go marching all your pawns down the center, which is good, stop this with a natural move.
Oh, you're just developing the knight at f3, right?
Yeah, knight f3. And the game could end like now, because if they play pawn d6, which looks very natural, they want to get rid of your pawn, you take, they take your queen. What's the most aggressive move that you have in this position?
It's pushing knight to d5, right?
Yes, it's pushing knight to d5. And look, if the queen goes here, you actually can take this. You say, why? Why to move and win?
Yeah, you just take the pawn, it's check, you take the queen. Fuck yeah.
Yes. And then this is an epic trap. And they can block the check, you take the queen, they go this way, you take it this way. So this will happen. People completely melt in the face of this like f4 thing. The best thing for them to do, and I would say you'll face this in less than 5% of the time, is what's called the main line. Have you heard the term main line from?
Yeah.
Right. So that means it's the best according to grandmasters and according to computers. So it's d5. So slap back in the center basically. Which pawn looks more appealing to capture?
Still the same pawn because you're still attacking the knight would be my guess.
Exactly. So f takes e5. They have to go here. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
And then I personally like this move in this position. There's a couple of moves you can play knight. And again, you're not taking because this doesn't really help you.
Right.
Like, you don't need to take. Actually, I'm sure you've noticed from your lessons, like, just because there's a capture early doesn't mean you have to do it. I like this move.
Ooh, okay.
So attacking the knight. If queen h4, queen h4, just g3, not a problem. I'm sure you've seen tricks like this, but that just doesn't work because it's protected.
Mm-hmm.
And if they take, you take with the b pawn, and you build up this big center. So something like this.
Okay, so doubling up the pawns instead of taking with the queen on c3?
Yes, good question. So queen takes c3, you think, but the point is that you want the queen in this area for when they castle this way.
Okay.
And like I said, in like what this looks like in a perfect way, and then I will show you what their best thing to do is. You get your bishop out, your knight can come out to e2 or to h3, and it's okay. I know that the knight normally goes there, but in this case your queen is here. It's one of the ways to play the position.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see how strong this looks. Notice we're not taking. We want to center together. Like, you can already tell what's going on here. We got the bishop staring this way. Got the queen staring. That's a main threat. The knight could jump in and take the bishop. And I had a game yesterday in this. I played a match against a very strong grandmaster, and one of the few good positions I had in about an hour and a half was in the Vienna. And then I tragically clicked my king and clicked my rook, and then I castled.
Oh.
And I meant to just move my rook. So, but that game.
That's a cool line.
Well, I can actually pull it up.
Yeah, real quick, before you do though, from this position, how would you go about your attack on the king? So one thing I've noticed is I lose a lot of time when I'm in a position like this, just trying to find the best attack.
Okay, exactly. What's interesting is that the game in question, it'll show you how to do that.
Okay, perfect.
So here, you don't have to X out of this board unless it'll like. Ooh, I'm inviting my opponent rather than inviting you. All right, here you go. So we'll go back to that analysis board in a second. So if we back up to the beginning, before the tragic slip, you'll notice it's the Vienna.
Yep.
And then everything that I just said. And in this position, black has a few choices. So like the same way it works in all of your openings, there's branches of what can happen. She developed her knight. I put my pawn up. I threw in this move just because why not? Improve the position of the rook, attack the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
She did this. Everything that I said, castles. And I played knight f4. So you'll notice I didn't even castle. I could have, but I decided to play knight to f4, immediately going for the bishop. Now, in general, you said, how do you develop an attack? Well, number one is you've got to create threats.
Thanks to resub, Dozo.
So here, the move queen h5, for example, is also a good move. So queen h5 is perfectly reasonable. If pawn to g6, what are you going to do with your queen? What looks more natural?
What I looked at right away was just pushing up to h6.
Yes, exactly. So as long as your queen is safe here and not getting trapped, you're good. Like, does this trap your queen?
No.
Because your bishop is there.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is that if your bishop wasn't there, this does trap your queen. So
yeah.
You actually like sometimes have to be careful, but in this position, we're good. And then yeah, like maybe you bring in a pawn to chop it down. Maybe you bring in the knight. In the game, I brought in my knight, g6. And so if they push a pawn in front of their king like this, that's something called a hook. Have you ever heard this term before?
Yes, I have. I have indeed.
Beautiful. So how are we going to go and target the hook?
So would you start by getting your queen over to the H file in the most efficient way, or is that not the play here?
Well, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Because they are monitoring. Try with the pawn storm.
So just pushing up a pawn on the H file then?
Exactly.
Okay.
So the move h4, which is actually funny because they can take, and that is exactly what she did. She took on h4, but in this particular case, when we block and the bishop moves, this is a huge benefit for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Because now, as long as you haven't castled this way, you're either still in the middle or the other side of the board. Launching your pawns is really nice. It's so nice that I'm pretty sure Daniel has a emote of the move h4. This is like, if you castle this way, the move h4 is a lot worse because your rook is here.
Yeah.
But that's how you have to think. You gotta go, how can I get after this? Let me go h4, h5. And then
I saw the raid. It's bots. I recognize the name.
With our pawns, so now the pieces come into play. The good rule of thumb, I say this all the time, if you have 2 more attacking pieces than they have defenders, you will have a successful attack. In this case, how many of your pieces are involved in your attack?
We have 4. The 2 bishops, or 5. 2 bishops, knight, queen, rook. Yes.
I like that you said this guy, even though hasn't moved yet, but totally playing a role. I mean, especially if the bishop ends up over there. What's interesting is that sometimes the way the pieces are all set up, you can sacrifice to break in. And you can actually, in this case, play this epic move. So if the king takes, the queen can now check the king, even though it looks like it can't because of where your bishop is.
Pinning the pawn. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So if the bishop drops back, or if the king moves, we can start with a king move. How can you sacrifice again to break in? Because now this is a threat. So
is it taking with the knight? Taking the g6 pawn with the knight?
Yes, actually in this case you're spoiled for choice. I think both work. But yeah, take with the knight because your bishop will work with your queen later. And so first things first, if they don't take the knight, what's your threat?
Taking the rook.
It's worse than that for black.
Oh, checkmate actually. Yeah, h8.
Yeah. it's queen h8 mate.
Yeah.
And even if the king had gone to g7, you have the same thing. You have a sacrifice on g6. But here's the thing about chess. Like, let's say you look at knight g6.
10 gift subs profit.
Take,
damn.
check.
Thank you.
Here, mate in 1.
Okay.
So that's mate in 1. But hold on a second. In this calculation, is knight takes g6 the most forcing move you have? And by the way, if you want me to clarify what I mean by that, I'm happy to do that.
I think I know what you mean. So, like, when you're saying forcing, you mean a move that's going to make him do what we want him to? Like, only really one choice?
Yes, exactly. So, ideally, in that case, what's the most forcing move in chess?
A check.
A check. That's the first thing you always have to scan. Not play, but scan. So, you have There's a difference between knight e6 and knight g6.
One of them's check. Okay, so it's taking the bishop on e6 then?
Yeah, because if they don't take, you take the queen, and if they do take, they get mated.
That's big. Oh, whoa, wow. That's big. All
Right?
right.
But look at this. You might in a game go, oh, if boom, 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 I'm so smart. And then all of a sudden they just go here. You go, what? I thought they had to take me. They don't have to take you. So that's how like as you go back into
Okay.
1000, 1200, 1400, it's you have to know what's going to happen for both sides. It's not just, you know, I'm going to go here and then mate them and the game is over. It's wait, if I go here, do I even have a threat?
Okay. So that all right. So in that position, taking bishop there, what did they most likely do? Because I bet most people probably wouldn't take, recognizing the mate coming, right?
Yeah, then they would go
Okay.
back to g8. And now funny thing here, if you take the queen, what happens to you?
I'll just lose the knight.
You're one of your pieces has escaped danger for a while.
Oh, I win the bishop.
If they take your knight, you take their bishop. But what can they capture? This is
Oh fuck! What am I missing?
a concept called continuity. Remember a while back, one of your pieces was safe. It's no longer safe.
The queen. The queen. It's still
Yes.
Yep. It's not pinned
Yes.
anymore.
Yes, it's like a few moves back, we're safe. We don't need to
Yeah.
think about this. And you get hyped in a game. You know, they go here, you get hyped, you do this, and you're still
Yeah.
good. But the best move is bishop takes g6. It's actually funny. Why is this the most forcing move? Because it's threatening mate. Like, they have to react. If you think about this, like, knight takes d8. Do they have to play this? They don't have to. They have like 30 possible moves here.
Yeah.
20 possible moves. But if you play bishop takes, they have to stop mate. They don't have a choice.
How do they stop the mate here?
It's actually mate no matter what they do.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So pawn takes bishop,
I take pawn.
and then you have queen and knight. You
Yep.
can take the queen, but you have a mate.
Yeah, I just push it to g7.
Very nice. And this is just tactics training. You've seen this
Yeah.
a million times. But generally, it's a combination between pushing your pawns to open up your lines, and at a certain point, it's going to be some sort of sacrifice, like, or just chopping it all down. So in this case, it's rook takes h7. You can also play this cool move. Knight h5 is another similar idea, and the point is that if they take,
I take with queen. I'm looking to threaten mate on h7.
yes. However, what's the more forcing move? Now we see the
So I'm looking to deliver a check first, right? So
because you want to bait them to the
Yeah.
H file and then mate them. And if they don't take you, this is an improvement because you got both pawns already.
wow, okay. Yeah, I think that's another thing I need to recognize, like when to sacrifice, like when it's a beneficial sacrifice and when it's not. I think that's another thing I need to work on.
Yes. And this like training of the brain to pick up on this pattern is so important because if you start with this move, you're threatening mate, and in a game you're gonna go I take and then I mate them, but nowhere in
Thanks to
there
Resub
like
Dom
why
Kieri
do they have to
in the bits roomsy.
sit there and get mated? Like, how will they stop mate? They only have one way to prevent you from taking this pawn, which is
I actually don't see how they stop that. The queen can't protect it, at least not in one move. Oh, it's just bringing the bishop over. Oh, no, that's
bishop.
not it.
No bishop over.
Yeah, we just take.
Sometimes the answer is staring us right in the face. That pawn doesn't have to stay where it is.
Oh, he just pushes the pawn.
You
Oh,
just push it.
yeah.
And this sucks. You're losing now. Because
Okay.
if you take the bishop, they're not going to take like this. They take like this, and they glued it all shut. It's all defended now. Queen takes, queen takes, queen takes, pawn takes. And then if you go back, well, now I'm attacking you.
Yeah. All right. Wow. Jesus. Okay.
So ultimately, like, chess is a lot less about, oh, I'm gonna trick them, they're not gonna
Thanks, Threesome
see
Wave.
that, and it's just like, I know what the best move is. It doesn't matter what they do. Like, I mean, it's similar to kind of understanding the playbook from in any sport. Like I know they're gonna run this defense. I gotta break it down. Not like I'm gonna trick them with something. It's like, okay, this move is more forcing because if they take, you have queen, and this is it. The game's over.
Yeah.
So you team up. There's a lot of elements here. Number one, the hook concept to get the pawn going up, and I'm being backseat coached right now. So someone said I have to warn you, okay? Don't sacrifice pieces unless you know it's going to work. So my coaching is being backseat coached right now. So obviously, like that is a skill, and the only way to do that is to just look at 100 examples of situations where literally, do you sack here or not? You know, that rule that I taught you, the rule of +2. How would you describe it? Because you've got to be able to describe it too.
Is it only sacking when you can go up a decent amount of points, +2, for example?
It's not that it's the. Oftentimes, when you sacrifice, you're going to be down points wise, but it's 2 more pieces involved in the attack.
Okay.
So, just as a, I guess let me think about how to. For instance, literally all the way back to the beginning, conceptually. I've had games that might look something like this. Very just elementary Scandinavian defense, opening not super important, and then something like this, like this h3, bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes. Oh, so spooky! King is so open. Does black have enough of an attack here?
No, there's nothing that black can really do here.
Right. Because black only has a queen.
Yeah.
We have a knight and a bishop. And a very common defensive setup here is, how do you cover up your king immediately?
Well, I just thought about developing knight g5, attack the queen, get the queen out, but to block the king?
Yeah.
Oh, is that it?
Oh, did I just draw this absent-mindedly?
Oh. I see. Okay.
I got distracted by a dog.
Oh yeah, Kate is. She's going kind of wild right now.
I remember. How long have you had the other one? Is it Tetra?
Yeah, I've had her for 3 years now. She's great.
Does Tetra do the husky howl and scream?
All the time. Thanks to the 5 gifts of profit.
I think there's a family on TikTok that has 2 huskies and a golden, and it's just the huskies screaming at each other, and the golden's just like, what the fuck, man? Like this is.
That's huskies, man. They're so adorable, though. It's really cute.
I honestly I got distracted. I heard there was dog noises. I might have drawn this move, but this is the idea, and you just cover up your king. You also can bring in your bishop by moving your rook. What the hell do I mean by that?
Just dropping the bishop now to f1.
Right. Exactly. So bishop f1, bishop g2, and everything is covered. Everything is good. And in this case, black does not have enough. Now, let's say we do a little bit of nothing for white. Something like e6, bishop d6. See, now there's a second piece.
Yeah.
And soon, maybe there's going to be a third piece.
Okay.
See, now that's bad. Now this is not good. First of all, we can't go here.
Right. Just get taken.
Yeah. In fact, I wonder if black is already... Yeah, black is already completely winning. So I booted up the old computer, and it's -5. So, and by the way, conceptually speaking, you might get obsessed with this side of the board because there's so much pressure here. But there's a move here for white which tries to remove this bishop from existence.
It's the b5 for the knight, right?
Exactly. And if this was just a game, would knight b5 occur to you, or would you be looking at this side of the board?
Yeah, so like even just looking at it quickly here, what I still just looked at g5 for the knight, attacking the queen, attacking f7 pawn.
Exactly. And right now your knight is your lifeline, because if you move it,
yeah,
h2 is, it's queen h2. So
this
is kind of the most drastic example of when sacrificing versus not. But listen, a lot of people do this anyway. they do this because defending sucks. Like, the computer hates this for black, but practically, this is amazing for white. Sorry, for black. Like, in many situations. And I mean, it's difficult for me to say, like, not to sacrifice all the time, but you should try to sacrifice if you're going to guarantee the king is going to be open and you can have a little bit more backup for your biggest attacker. It can't just be the queen. Queen by herself will not do a thing, but you need the bishop. You need a knight.
Holy fuck,
is
Prophet.
kind of how I want you to think about it.
Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Prophet.
But this was also, we started out with an openings lesson. So do you have the other analysis board up?
Yep, I still have that right here.
Perfect. So run through the Vienna with me. How's your short-term memory?
Oh, I think it's pretty good. I think I understand it.
Very useful. People say, what is chess talent? I think it's not necessarily the chess, it's the other details. So let's start with this. What do we do here?
Is this where we're running the gambit?
Yes. It's
Okay.
What's funny is that it's not even it's not even a gambit, because to be honest, it can't be accepted. Like, pawn takes is game over. So most people will go here. Now finish your development here before you do anything with your f-pawn. When I
Okay.
say finish your development, that means,
Yeah, bishop, right?
yeah, you could start with knight or bishop. So
Okay.
knight, in my opinion, knight is the more guaranteed move, if that makes sense. Like, you're gonna play knight f3 in this
Okay.
position, but your bishop might go to b5 to pin the knight, maybe. Bishop c4 is obviously good, so let's go bishop b7.
Okay, now it's pawn.
Castle.
Push.
Yes, you could go knight. You could go knight. You could kind of leave it here for them to take, so because you're always guarded for now.
Okay, so knight's the more important one to get going. I want to get this to f3 pretty quickly after delaying it.
Yeah, and if you experience this a lot, you could start with f5 just to shut that out completely.
Okay.
The truth is that knight f3 is it is the better
Thank
move
you,
because it
Grapefruit.
continues putting pressure here. And again, point is not to take. We don't want to open up their queen, their bishop, all these things. So
Mm-hmm.
finish your development, castle, and
Yeah.
then play f5.
Okay.
The rule of thumb when this happens is to attack the bishop.
So just push the pawn.
Exactly.
Okay.
So push the pawn. Here's the benefit of this f-pawn. If they go back, you win the bishop by
Yeah,
force.
Yeah, it's trapped now because I pushed this. It only has one spot, and then I push the pawn.
Exactly. Now, this sacrifice is garbage. This is no attack whatsoever. But I still want to kind of look at this. So give me 3 moves for white. We'll work on like thought process in the middle game. Now what?
Okay. So I can still push the f pawn here, right? I can cut
Yep.
off the retreat. I can. I don't know if this is good, but I always look at outposts, so I was looking at d5 for the knight.
Yes, knight d5 is an idea. Yep. Now, I'm gonna add a layer into this. We don't want to be selfish. What does the opponent want?
To keep the knight pinned to the queen.
And well, if you're looking this way, what's going to be the opponent's next move?
I just.
To add pressure.
Oh, he's gonna develop the knight to d4.
Knight to d4, and you're not like losing, but this is unpleasant to say the least.
Right.
So then if we know this and we see that this comes in next,
We want
what
to
do we
cut
do
that
about
off. We want to. So bishop to e3 then?
Bishop to e3 is an option. Yes, as well as don't be pinned anymore.
Oh, just move the queen.
To here or here.
Okay.
Yes. Both are okay. Very, very tough for me to guide one versus the other. But you'll notice that G and H pawns are gone. Which means that later in the game we could use these as lateral attacks. So for example, when I think this, I'm thinking this next.
Grapefruit. Okay.
When I think this, what do you think is next when I think this?
Pushing the pawn and getting to the next file?
Oh,
just go straight across. Straight across, okay.
Like this. So this is a very weird pattern, this. Like,
Yeah.
Just you've never seen this, and so it's like. But I'm like, I want to put my queen on g2. I like that. I get the bishop out, and then I can push my pawn. And then you're right, knight d5. You're up material, so you want this trade. You want to just chop off as many pieces as you can, and then they
Thanks to
can't
tier
do
1
anything.
grapefruit and prime Ozzy.
They have no way to fight back. But yeah, exactly. You would play queen d2, queen e1. The game actually can spiral out of control. Like here, if you're like, well, Levy told me to play f5, and then this happens, you're like, oh shit, I should have stopped that. You want to be surprised as little as possible. So if you can see what they want, in this case, it would be this.
Mm-hmm.
You just move the queen, and then you get out of the way, and you're good. But I have to tell you, people get really good positions in the Vienna, but after that, it's a chess game, and you might get a really good position in the beginning, and then it doesn't go your way. But this is right here the perfect Vienna. You ready for something even more epic?
Yep, hit me.
Okay. So, this one. Knight c3. We've been looking a lot at knight f6. What if they copy you? So, just bishop c4.
Okay.
Nothing complicated. We want to go for our setup with d3 and f4. But they might copy you. And if they copy you, you do not play d3 and f4. This setup, you can beat somebody in 6 moves, which you should be very familiar with.
I like that number. Okay.
So the pawn on g7 is weak.
Thank you, grapefruit. Goddamn. And thank you for
How
the
do you
prime
attack
cement.
it?
It looks like the quickest way to get an attack going is by developing the queen over to g4.
Absolutely. Which looks kind of weird. This looks like it's not supposed to happen. So definitely play queen g4.
Okay.
Now, how can black defend that? What looks like... There's a move here that looks very natural, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just developing the knight to attack the queen, but then it still exposes the pawn, so is it just pushing the pawn to g6?
So actually, g6 is the professional solution. I was thinking, you would be thinking about the legendary game, so you can counter with queen f6.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of that. Yeah.
Well, there's this.
Yeah.
This looks appetizing. The problem is queen f6 loses immediately. So to move 4,
Thank you for the
black is
11.
lost.
Give subs proper.
Most forcing move for you is actually not to even defend this. You go knight to d5.
Okay.
You go what? How does that make any sense? So queen takes f2 check. Only move for white?
D1.
D1. This is still threatening this.
Grapefruit, holy fuck, thank you. Jesus Christ.
This is still threatening
Thank you for the generosity.
This is not mate, by the way.
Yeah, I just take with the bishop.
Yes, I've had people do this.
Ooh.
Like and then they resign. So the point is that at this point, black's gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, this is not good. They're threatening this, they're threatening this. I don't like this at all. If I go g6, they're gonna go here. They're gonna win my rook. I don't like that. So the best move for black is to play king to f8 to avoid the fork and to protect.
Okay.
They might also play g6, like you said. They might also push. And in this position, you have an absolutely amazing way to trap this queen. How do you attack this queen right now? You have a way to attack it.
I could develop the knight to g3 for an attack.
To h3, right?
Or h3. Yep, sorry, h3.
Yeah, to h3, attacking the queen. Queen's only got 1 safe square.
That's the middle of the board, right? e3.
So lock it in
Or
a cage.
d4.
Yes, lock it in a cage. d3.
Oh, and then you just push. Okay.
Yeah. Queen's trapped. Now, there's a few ways for black to fight back.
Thank you, the prime.
Okay, like there's a
the
few
sexy
ways.
Dragonic 13.
Black can, for example, in some positions
Thank
play
you.
the move d6,
Holy
and
shit.
you have to realize that your queen's not so safe. If you notice that.
Yeah, bishop's attacking it.
Right. But in the long term, you're going to slide the queen back to f3. Oftentimes, when the queen is done with the duty on g4,
This
it will
back
go
and
back to
forth
f3.
by one. Thank you, grapefruit.
And setting up this. In fact, it's setting it up
Oh,
so
thank
hard
you,
that
man.
if they take your knight, you don't even need to take back. You can just trap the queen, for example. But there's some positions where queen f2 is possible. So how do you stop queen to f2? Rook f1.
Okay.
and this. And this is still hanging. Copycat is death. And when I say you can win in 6 moves, here is, for example, how that can happen. You will play queen to g4. They will play pawn to g6. And what I say, when the queen's done with the job here, it slides back to which square?
Bringing it back to f3, right?
Which threatens
The scholar's mate over there on f7.
Threatens mate on f7. Something can block this.
Just the knight, right?
Knight can block, yes. Now, you see the benefit of making all of these pawns go on light squares? When I say that, what is that like?
No.
If every pawn is on a light square, what color complex is weaker?
Oh, the dark square.
Dark squares. So in the future, you'd love to land a bishop here, because that would be game over.
Yeah.
There's a small problem with
Jesus
rushing this.
Christ, Grape.
And it's again,
Profit. Holy
they're not just going to sit there and
fuck.
get run over.
Thank you. Holy shit.
They're going to counterattack us.
Okay.
We get knight to d4. So before you play d3, what's a developing move to stop knight to d4?
Is it getting knight to b5 to protect it?
You can add the other knight.
Oh, just bring it to e2.
Yes.
Okay.
By the way, you see this again. It's another
Yeah.
variation where the queen is on this square and the knight goes out to e2. Also, just in all like big picture of all this, like you don't really shy away from studying the different variations, right? Like you seem to have a pretty good grasp. Like if I do this and then depending on how they play, you know,
Yeah.
okay. Especially like I don't know if you have like a long-term rating in mind for chess, or if it's just, you know, you came back for Pog 3 because it's epic and you're gonna win it. And
honestly, I'd like to hit 2K by the end of the year. That's kind of what I've been thinking. I think that'd be really cool to get to 2K, but that's such a lofty, unrealistic goal. I don't know if I'd do that, but just shooting for the stars.
if you even hit like 15, 1600 by the end of the year, that'd be sick. But then you do have to. There's no the corner cutting, like. You know, you got 2 Soviet school coaches, so you gotta, you know, we will make you work, you know, lots.
Yeah.
So it's then it's good. Then it's good. You can't just be like, oh, this is too much, man. I'm just gonna, you know, but that would be sick. So, you know, you got your Vienna. You've got the copycat. You've got the basic setup, and you have the gambit. And basically everything beyond that is garbage. So. You know, some people will like do this, for example. Some people will play it in a totally weird way. Like I've seen b6 or whatever, and you just do your thing. Okay, like you do your thing. You play f4. If you can't get your gambit, you delay it a little bit.
Thanks to Prime Seed,
then
Big,
you-
and the resub Ryan.
Play a game, and then you analyze it. You go, did I do a good job in the opening? Go, oh no, I messed up. You know, I could have done better. But come back, fix your opening, and then try to learn how to actually play the middle game as well. I said I was going to show you just what to do like in Sicilian positions, for example.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to the Prime, Bob.
And against the Sicilian defense, you can still play knight c3. But people were also telling me that Daniel was going to teach you the Alpin Sicilian. If that sounds familiar.
I don't know if he ever said that. It's possible he may have said it during like one of his streams, but yeah, I don't recognize that name.
Okay, I didn't want to step on any toes. There's a few different ways to play the Sicilian defense, and in general, the point is that Black wants to take in the center with a flank pawn, so not a central pawn, which would result in you trading your D pawn for a C pawn. It's not like it's losing, but Black has 2 central pawns. You have 1. But the C3 Sicilian or the Alpin Sicilian is the fact that you want to play d4 and you want to take back with the pawn and have two pawns in the center. So you'll just remove your c pawn and it's going to be like a fair trade. So I like this. I think it'll really confuse Sicilian players up until like 1600. And black has two things that they can do. But for example, you know, d6, you should go d4. And knight, bishop, castle. And again, in a perfect world, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go here, you're gonna go here, you're gonna go here, you're gonna go here. Like, your position's great, easy.
Makes sense.
And you yourself, being a Sicilian aficionado, are gonna have to learn how to deal with this when you play black, and that might be d5, or knight f6. We'll see what you come up with. Everything else, man, like for example, Caro-Kann. You ever seen this?
Yes, I believe Yasuo played the Caro-Kann in PogChamps. I lost that game.
Jesus Christ, you actually do sound like a grandmaster now. I remember I played game 8 months ago. I was, you know.
I'll never forget this fucking name, that Caro-Kann. It was tough.
See, so the general rule of thumb against an opening that doesn't go on the 5th rank and is trying to like delay and play d5, or you know, the French defense. I don't know if you've heard of the French defense, but I would say that the way for you to try to get an advantage is to put the second pawn in the center. So go ahead and do that. Just this is like, because again, Vienna is only against e5. You can't play Vienna against everything. So d4, d5, and this is just what I'll say. Push the damn pawn.
Keep it closed. Okay.
Keep it closed. Take space. People hate playing with space restrictions. And if they try to break at your center with a move like c5, keep it together. So what does that mean? How do we reinforce here?
Do I just is it just bringing up another pawn?
Absolutely right.
Okay.
So that would be c3.
Okay.
Exactly. c3. If they take, your wall is intact. So then, once you do this, you can take even more space with pawns before you get your pieces out. Pawns can go first. So, for example, if I play a move like knight c6, how would you take even more space with pawns here? Ideally,
do I just push that f4?
So something like this, exactly. And, you know, we're specifically in a French defense right now. We're not in a Caro-Kann, but I'll show you what this looks like that way. This is not considered
the prime Colbian
the meta, if you will. But black has to play perfectly to take advantage of this setup. Like in the French defense, black wants to attack your center. That involves a queen to b6. That involves pressure.
Yeah.
This way. And if you just reinforce, and by the way, you can even take space on the queen side. So you want to go b4 to take as much space as you can. You're not winning that trade right now, so how do you prepare the move b4?
I push up that a pawn a3, right?
Yes, this might look really stupid. You might be like, what am I doing here? This doesn't make any sense. But look how terrible this looks for black. Like if black just does something like this, or even, you know, you take with the a pawn. Black has no space. Like at all.
Okay, all right, and then like you could push that b pawn next to attack the knight. It's protected by the bishop. Okay, this is interesting.
Yes, and oftentimes when you have a big space advantage, you don't even need to like necessarily start advancing. b5 is a good move, and it's just a choice of how you're going to play the position. But you can use this as a restriction. Like this is barbed wire basically, and you just focus where your pieces can kind of go, like bishop, castle. Maybe you play on the queen side. Maybe you just lock this all down and just push through here. Because look at where all these pieces are. They have no role on this side of the board. Like, how the hell is the queen ever going to get back?
So this is the French defense then, with all the pawn blockade?
Yeah, so okay. e4, e6 is the French defense. It's when they... And what do you do against the French? You play the advanced French with e5. c3.
Okay.
You can throw in an f4. Or if you don't want to throw in an f4, you're going to play knight, bishop, castle, and then try to expand on the queen side. So you get this big wall of pawns: c3, a3, b4.
Thanks for the
And
Brock.
if they play the Caro Kann defense, this legendary, it's my favorite opening. So I don't know if I actually taught it to Yasuo. If I did, I'm really sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Because now, well, you made it to Pog 3, you know, so you. By the way, oh, sorry. I was going to say you won the consolation bracket in Pog 1.
Yeah, it was a real ass greaser against Ludwig in the finals.
You guys ended up playing off air, right? Because it crashed or something.
Yeah, I think it crashed on our second game. I think it was something like that.
Oh, that's because the game was too good. They couldn't
Yeah.
let anybody. I think there was like a forest fire actually, but in California, which is where they were, or on the West Coast, which is where they produce it. So, but good times, man. Well, how far we've come chess wise. You were like what 500-600 in that final?
No, so by then I was tearing a little bit. I was up to 1K during that tournament. Like going into it, I think I had just hit 1K.
Shit. Okay, well, for at the end of this tournament, you need to be 1500.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm praying, man. I just got to work on time management more than anything. That is still the weakest part of my game.
We we can finish the lesson with playing like a game, either like, you know, we do some hand and brain, or we can just play against each other and talk out our thought process like over the course of 10 minutes. But Caro Kann, very similar. 2 pawns in the center. So go ahead, play d4.
Okay.
And if they play d5, take the center. And then, honestly, oops, f4, c3. Kind of a similar situation. Knight, bishop. Actually, Daniel himself plays f4 here sometimes, and then d5, e5. And he calls this the Naro Kann.
Oh, very interesting. Okay.
See, you're not the only one who can learn. I mean, I didn't know he called it that. I popped into a video. I'm not sure if it was. He might have been cheating. Actually, he might have been coaching someone. Actually, I think he was. I think he was coaching Nemo. So you're right. The open relationship was definitely going in his favor a bit more. And then he played this and he called it the Naro Kann, and he plays like, you know, d4, knight f3. It's similar to what I said, just in a slightly different move order. People hate this shit, man. They hate not having space. So that is why with white, we take as much space as we can. And I mean, Sicilian it's a good one with black. Do you have an opening against d4, against queen's pawn?
I usually just copy. So if they play d4, I just copy on the other side.
Okay. Well, I can introduce you to another fun one if you flip the board to black's perspective.
Okay.
So if you play the Sicilian defense with e4, c5, you can do the exact same thing on this side. d4, how would you mirror?
Oh, so then I just do f5?
Yeah, which is a slight drawback because you weaken your king a little bit. But this is called the Dutch defense.
The door of fate shall open.
Okay.
So d4, f5.
I've been waiting for
you,
friends.
You would develop your bishop, like for example to g7, fianchetto the bishop. Develop your knight. And it can be very fun to play like this because you have an advancement of pawns here. You can create some sort of attack down this side of the board. So maybe you have an opening like already Nimso Indian, but the truth is like you can play this mirrored pawn Sicilian Dutch if you want to. And if you don't want to, you just want to, you know, keep it. The more you know, the better. So you have options, and you can mess around and see what works for you.
That all sounds good to me. Okay.
But yeah, with e4, give the Vienna a shot. I honestly think if you like review the lines a couple times, play them out against yourself, which is how I see your. I think your title was Grandmaster Speedrun, so you gotta. That's how you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
friends.
let's go for an unrated 10-minute game. So where it says play at the top.
I've been waiting for
in live chess, hit custom challenge and just make sure that the game is unrated.
Okay, unrated. Let me go to the bathroom real quick though. Give me 2 seconds.
That is totally fine.
I'll be right back. And yeah, that's not a real raid, by the way. It's a bot raid. Give me 1 sec.
don't know if Charlie's chat can hear me, but love you all. Appreciate the support for, first of all, for Mr. Daniel Naroditsky, whose YouTube channel, I mean, like got its initial bump really from all these excellent lessons. He's got mad love for Daniel, a really strong player. Everyone's always like, "Yo, play Daniel," and I'm always like, "No, go fuck yourself. I'm not trying to play Daniel.
Of fate
He's too strong." So,
I've been waiting for you, friends.
oh my God, wait. Did Charlie go to the bathroom when he got a raid of 20,000 people? What? Oh my God, I gotta welcome. Oh, it's a fake raid? Okay, never mind. I got pranked. I got pranked. Damn. Oh, or I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting pranked now. I don't know what the hell is going on. Oh, I wish I knew the inside jokes of another channel. I might be getting pranked about the raid or the non-raid. I don't even know anymore, man. Oh, rough. Rough. But listen, that's the beauty of these collabs, man. That's the that's the beauty of these collabs, is that you just don't know. And you got to learn the inside jokes of another channel. Also, Charlie's he's in Florida, right? Oh, must be a good time, man, with the Bucks and NFL. Damn.
Come, friends. The door of fate shall open.
Damn.
I've been waiting for you, friends.
I look over at I look over at the chat and someone says Florida sucks. All right, well, that's a very opinionated person. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. I can't believe I got debated by that. That's really funny. Is it worth playing computers on chess websites? I personally don't think so. It's a public service announcement. We got combined nearly 30,000 viewers, unless like 90% of my viewers are in both streams, in which case, yeah, thank you for boosting me up. Don't play computers, play human beings. Computers are programmed to play like normal and then just completely shit their pants. Like, they don't play like human beings. Computers are designed to just do something really stupid at some point. And the higher you go up the computer rating ladder, you know, the less that's going to happen. I mean, I lose to computers all the time, so.
Okay, I'm back. I'm ready.
Man, you're, I got you baited by the fake raid.
Come.
Is it that,
The door
that bot
of
account?
fate shall open.
I don't, is it a bot?
I've been waiting
Yeah,
for
it's
you,
I
friends.
found it yesterday. It's a channel with 0 followers and viewers, and I'm guessing they buy bots to watch the stream for a second and then raid random channels. It's really fucking weird.
Oh, I thought that was like some sort of like inside joke with your. Oh no, that's like a real thing.
Yeah, it's like a real thing. It's fucking weird. It's a big waste of money. I'm guessing it's like for attention, but I think it's more sad than anything because he had to pay for the bots.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay, I thought it was like a wholesome, you know, like mods made a bot or
What
something.
the fuck are you talking about,
Oh, wow.
Atax?
Okay.
I streamed
I
Rust for the
didn't
last
realize
6
that.
days. It's just been 2 days I haven't played
Well,
it. Calm down.
there was a YouTube channel. No,
Don't get your
Like, my
diaper
girlfriend was telling me,
soiled.
like a couple years back, there was a YouTube channel that exploded that had millions of views, hundreds of millions of views, and like 20 comments.
Yeah, well, that's probably like a children's channel. Like all those children things you're not allowed to comment on. But I'm sure there's a ton of botted channels like that.
Ah, okay. That suddenly makes sense. Okay.
Thanks to
Well,
Easy. And Connor.
Let's go. Just make sure you seek
Thank you, Prophet.
an unrated 10-minute game. So if you're gonna go to play custom challenge, make sure rating is unrated, and then just have at it.
All right. Oh, 1,300. Okay.
Okay, beautiful. So we've got the black pieces.
Yeah.
Hand and Brain. Have you played Hand and Brain?
I think so. That's just. How does it work?
I say well, for example, pawn, and then you have to move a pawn.
Okay. So let's do what we just talked about.
Hey, brave man. You're like the only person. Like most people, they just do a whole lesson, then they play their old opening. I'm like, man, what? So, beautiful. Look, the guy's already shocked. You're playing the Dutch against the Dutch guy. The guy's like, what? He knows my secrets. Oh my god.
So now, if I was going to mirror what I usually do, I'd start with the knight to f6, but that's not what we went over, right? So what's the next progression then? I forgot.
It's not f6.
It is f6? Okay.
It is. So your opponent's playing a London, is what this is. So yeah, knight. And of course, those of you that are concerned that this is against TOS, first of all, I'm a streamer, so I get away with it. Second of all, it's unrated. It's unrated. So we are not taking this person's hard-earned points, but we will inflict psychological
It's not
damage.
a real raid.
For that, there is no refund, sadly. So here, again, I'm going to say pawn. You can develop your dark squared bishop to g7 is normally how this works. So
The
g6 bishop. Yes, exactly. But I also do, if we accidentally play rated, I will message staff to refund this person bishop. And king will be next. So now when you're looking at this is the first time you've ever played a Dutch, right?
Yes, this is the first time I've touched that.
Beautiful. You're gonna have to take a little bit of central space, and it's gonna have to happen with your E and D pawns after you castle your king.
Okay.
So generally in the Leningrad, that's what you're playing. You're playing the Leningrad Dutch. I don't know why they fused those two names, but it's two countries there. You're gonna play your D pawn to D6. So D6 here.
To prepare the E5?
Yes. In this case, white has a pretty good grasp on it, but you'll prepare it slowly. So,
okay.
Like if white's bishop was not there, then you could play... There's even positions you can play E5 and it looks like it doesn't work, but it's not so bad. Correct, chat members. I'm aware Leningrad is not a country. Thank you. Chess is always named after, obviously, by like a person who invented it or a place, country, or city.
Oh,
and then
nice, Shado.
additions to it were created in different parts of the
Really
world.
seems nice.
So that's why it's the Leningrad Dutch. All right. So the next move, it might look a little bit counterintuitive, but it's actually another pawn move. And generally it's used to repel the c3 knight. So you play the move c6.
Okay.
Create this little spiky structure. And then your next two moves to prepare the move e5 are going to be queen e8.
Okay.
And then knight b to d7.
Okay, so
Then
we're just
E5.
reinforcing that E5. Gotcha.
Exactly. You also can play knight on f6 to h5 to attack the dark squared bishop. That also opens up the dark squared bishop. And then you can use your dark squared bishop to defend your center. So that is what we're doing here with this Dutch defense. And by the way, you might play this and you go, I hate this. I don't get any space. So let's say queen.
Okay.
Also, shout out to chess.com, who just brought in some real. That's a real raid, not a fake raid. I feel like this is like a husband coming home, and catching.
Yeah, more or less.
I don't know, because Daniel was doing the commentary. Daniel, it's all good. This is just we're just friends.
Levy, Daniel, Levy was talking so much shit, saying your openings are some of the weakest dog shit he's seen in his life, man. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, knight. We're gonna move past that. That may or may not have happened. You'll have to check the VOD tape. Man, Daniel's a trooper for waking up for this commentary, man. He's got to wake up at like 7 in the morning for this.
The guy's a robot, like an actual chess robot. He'll be up at like 4 a.m. doing a speed run, and then he'll get up at like 8 a.m. after that stream and still do more chess. He's an animal. Beautiful
yeah, he's an
animal.
animal. It might come back to bite in like a few years, man. You gotta get some sleep. like,
No, he doesn't
it's
need that.
all right. Knight to g5. Oh, so what does white want?
Um, is he looking to plant on e6?
He is looking to plant on e6. The good thing is that if you play pawn, you stop that. So you can actually continue with our plan that we had.
So I still just want to push this up to e5 here.
Exactly.
Because
Because then
now,
your
yeah.
queen. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. 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 Yes, sir. This is and this is like the Leningrad Dutch. But you know, it's hard to open the position with black. It's just hard. Like especially against the queen spawn. It's one of the most solid openings.
Thanks for resub, Colin.
So you can learn some gambits with black, but it's a big risk. Because if they know what they're doing, your position is just garbage. You know,
Yeah.
like that's just how it works, unfortunately, with black. You play a gambit, you're gonna end up losing if they know what they're doing. But the Leningrad is a little bit more solid. What strikes your fancy? You want to take that with the knight or the pawn?
I was thinking pawn first.
Good. I think it's better. So let's take that with the pawn.
Okay.
Nice center. Everything's looking good. So white only has one move.
It's to drop the bishop back, right?
Yes, sir. What are you going to use the warehouse for?
Oh my god, so much shit. We actually made a full mini golf course there over the last couple days.
Oh my god.
Thanks to tier 1, Greg.
All right, I got a couple options, but I'm gonna say pawn.
Yeah, I was looking at e4. Is that what you were thinking?
That is one.
Okay.
That is one. If you like it, you play it. You break it, you buy it.
All right, I'm gonna play that. I think that looks nice.
It is nice. You get the connect 4, which means you win actually. So, like the game is supposed to end now.
Okay, cool. So he'll resign now any second.
Yeah, actually, it's supposed to just abort, but that's weird. I had a Connect 5 a couple days ago. That was pretty sick. I've never had that. Let's do pawn. Let's do pawn.
It's pushing up the h pawn here to h6 to chase the knight away. I think.
Yeah, because that forces the knight to go on a really passive square backwards and kind of get out of your face. And when the knight drops back to h3, which is the only safe move it has, how do you prevent it from ever moving forward again?
I just bring that pawn up to, well, actually, no. I bring the knight up to g4, correct?
Well, the white knight can move to f4. Were you going to say bring the pawn up to g5?
Yeah, was that the right
Yeah,
one?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. So you could go ahead and do that. Now you've got this nice little spiky... Okay, well, the opponent's not a slouch, so he doesn't want to sit there and get steamrolled. Okay, let's do pawn. Otherwise, they take us.
Okay, so I have to take this pawn.
Taking on f3, probably. Don't be afraid of making a mistake, by the way. If we lose, at least people won't complain that we're, like,
Yeah.
talking about a game at the same time. Queen?
Just attack this hanging pawn. Check.
Queen takes pawn check. Beautiful. So you are up a pawn. But white has something called compensation. How is white compensating being down one pawn?
The center of the board being open?
Center of the board, a bit more activity.
Yeah.
I'm going to say pawn.
Yeah, there's a fork here on g4. Right? Yeah, he can't take. I think that's it. That knight has nowhere to go.
Very nice. Now, we are lacking a little in development, to be fair. Our knight is blocking our bishop. Our pawn's in front of our king. A little bit of... Ooh, it's a good move. It's a good move. Danger levels, attacking the queen instead of defending somebody. So let's move our queen to safety. Let's say queen.
So this is another thing I struggle with. There's a lot of options for retreat squares. I just don't know which one's the most beneficial. So the first one I looked at is bringing it all the way to b6. But I don't know if that's the right one, but I'll play it anyway.
Okay, queen b6. If you had well, first, by the way, in this position you only have two options. So you could have went to c5.
Yeah, that was the other one I looked at.
You have to think about it from the forcing perspective of the other side. Can they attack you? If you had gone to c5, their dark squared bishop could have gone to d6.
Okay.
Forking your queen and rook and defended by their own rook.
Okay.
Right now they can only attack you with their knight to a4, and then you would just move your queen again. But they can also drop the dark squared bishop back to f2, where it would attack your queen, but it's not that forcing. You just go back to safety. But whereas if you had put your queen on c5, they would have guaranteed the winning of material, if that makes sense. That's hard, but that is the way you would do it. You go, can they attack me? Oh shit, bishop d6. Okay, so I gotta.
The reason I didn't see that, but the reason I didn't play c5 is because I didn't really see any attack options. At least with b6, I'm at least looking towards kingside there. That b2 pawn. Maybe get something going there.
Makes sense. Queen b6 is good. Sometimes you accidentally stumble into the best move. Well, there is knight a4, so I'm gonna say queen and trust that you apply the same methodology for.
Yeah. Do I want b4 or do I want a5?
Or all the way to the home square of d8. I'm not actually saying that's the best move, but all of those are options.
I don't think that'd be a good move because that puts a pin on the knight to the queen, right? Because the rook is there.
Walking into the pin is definitely very unpleasant, to say the least.
If I bring the queen to b5, he'll push a pawn, and then my queen is trapped. Well, not trapped. I go to c5, then he plays the bishop move, so I think I have to do a5.
All right, so go with a5. Trust your gut. Actually, on a5, you can't be attacked anymore.
Yeah.
Now, you're not attacking anything, but at least for now, you're safe. But also, that was very good that you just said queen b4, they just play a3. See, in a game, maybe an hour ago, you just played queen b4. Now you're like, wait, they have a3. I got to go to a5 anyway, so let me just go to a5.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no immediate benefit. That fork is still alive and good. Now, let me ask you, would you take the bishop or the knight if you had the chance?
I want to take the bishop because the bishop is more active in the attack.
Oh, there's a bishop move. Okay. So if we take the bishop or the knight, they take our rook, we take the bishop. That's a good trade.
Okay, so you'd recommend just taking now?
Well, I'm kind of like trying to apply the thought process here. The alternative is to move the rook, but I mean, your options are. Let's do that. Let's do pawn.
Okay.
Let's do pawn. And then you said you were going to take the bishop. It's more active.
Yeah. I mean, it doubled up his pawns if I take his knight, but I don't know if that's really super helpful.
Now, in this case, I'm going to say knight.
Okay.
Because I want to activate our bishop. I like the cocoon near the king. Everything is defended. And now we'll finish our... We need to get our rook out.
Yeah,
like if we can trade one of our terrible rook for one of their active rooks, we're in good shape. Also, time management. You're up almost 2.5 minutes. Huge.
That fucking that Dutch right there really threw him for a loop early.
Yeah, it was spending a lot of time. Let's go bishop. Let's finish our plan. Notice your pawn could actually take his pawn, but then he gets the rook lined up to your king. I don't know if you caught that. So if you take his pawn, his rook takes, and let's not let that happen. So let's go bishop.
All right, so I'm just blocking this whole attack by moving bishop to d7 here.
Yeah, bishop to d7. Yep. It's kind of funny. I was like by default thinking more active bishop e6, but bishop d7 is a very good move. Now his rooks can't get in. So there you go. I didn't even think about that move, and I actually am starting to like it even more than my original idea.
Awesome. Fuck yeah.
There you go. I'm always hyped when like I'm giving a lesson and there's a move played. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. There you go. Amazing. So
I'll get maybe one of those every week or something. I'll find like an actual decent move. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of like generic or some dog shitty moves.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be much more likely with me than with Daniel. So you, he sees the board a bit different. All right, let's get the rook in the game.
Okay, so we're looking at the open E file. I think at E8 would be my guess. It seems pretty
Yes.
strong.
It does seem pretty strong. You see the way that the opponent moved the knight to activate it a little bit? Well, that's kind of the way knights work. One move they're passive, one move they're a bit more active. Man, it's a tough position. Let's say queen.
Okay, so what I looked at is queen E5. It attacks the knight. And it's a pretty active square, I think.
Beautiful. It's exactly what I would play. The time situation, 3-1. At this point, especially in a 10-minute game, go like a golden rule for yourself: never be down more than 90 seconds.
Okay.
2 minutes tops. So in this case, you're up 2 minutes. So keep applying the pressure. They defend. Let's say a pawn.
I looked. I looked at b5, but I don't think that accomplishes anything. Pushing this f pawn to f2, he just takes. I don't really benefit from that, so I'm thinking it's b5.
Okay.
That's the one that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I drew the arrow to that square. So if you open up the position there, their knight, queen, and king are all on the same file. That's money for the rook. If this all opens up, so your rook will go to c8 later. Okay, well now you got to make a queen move.
Yeah.
So
I just have to drop it back, I think. Where do I want to drop? I don't have to drop it back. There still is e3 there. I think I might do e3, and then I can push the pawn after that.
Okay. By the way, don't listen to my tone of voice for psychological cues. I'm honestly,
Okay.
queen e3 is the first arrow that I drew, so I just don't want to, be like, oh, great. See, now we got close to 1 minute 15 seconds. Okay, so pawn. You got close there. The opponent's taking too much time with this little time on their clock. So
actually, I just realized I can't push that pawn because he still has the. Oh, well, no, he can't take with the knight with the rook because it's pinned to the king right now because my queen's there. So I can push this.
Well, you just said that they can take.
Yeah, never mind the knight.
With the knight.
Yeah.
So.
I think I just take this pawn back, right?
Yep. Notice that it's getting within a minute on the clock. You don't need to spend this much time because the guy's got 20 seconds. Okay. Just go apply the pressure. Look, 26 seconds. Spent a lot of time on this move. Let's go queen.
Okay. I have to drop back, so I'm looking at b6 here again.
So good. So keeping that minute barrier. So I mean bishop. Let's say bishop. So rooks are off. Oh, he's speeding up. So let's say queen. I love it. Now I'm gonna play a gangster move. Pawn.
Okay. You want me to just push this f pawn here?
It's very flashy. It's very flashy here. Doesn't quite work if they defend the right way, but it looks cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty. I think that's pretty extravagant.
Now see, look, all his time's going down. 5, 4. Oh, it's a
Wow.
check. So let's say bishop. Most forcing response we have. And they run out of time.
Nice.
So it's kind of interesting because you had 4-1 in the later stage of the game. We only won the game with 57 extra seconds. So when you have that time barrier, so important, make yourself move and don't watch me play competitive chess because I do not follow my own advice.
Okay.
My nerves get the best of me. But when you play these PogChamps matches, do you feel any nervousness or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Then in that case with 10 minutes on the clock, set that mental barrier for yourself. I am not going to be down. I'll do it with you because in my next match I'm playing a match in 2 weeks, so I'll have to apply the same thing.
Who are you playing?
I don't know yet. I find out on the 31st.
Okay, nice.
So it's either going to be. Do you know Eric Rosen?
I know the name. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I do know his name.
Yeah, one of the ASMR chess content creators
Nice.
here on Twitch and YouTube. So, for a first lesson, I think that was pretty solid. So does Daniel give you homework? Should I give you like homework or something? Like what?
He usually just tells me to play some games and work on the openings and puzzles.
Okay, so that's like what all. That sounds like homework I used to give to my private school like students who I knew wouldn't ever do homework.
Ah, right.
So here's gonna be my homework assignment. I want 5 Vienna games.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
that's what I want. I want to see some good games. What we've
Thanks for
done
resub,
for
Sonic.
like this edition of PogChamps, because we have some people who are like starting all the way from the beginning.
Resub
So like
Cryptic.
Daniel and I are both your coaches. I might like set up a Discord channel where I'm just like, yo, Daniel, this is what we covered, so we can keep adding new layers every week, and turn you into that 2000 you want to be by the end of the year.
Fuck yeah, man. That sounds good to me. This felt good. Everything felt real good here.
This is that's how chess lessons should feel. You leave it, you feel hyped, you go in there and you lose all your games in live chess. That's how it works. And then,
Amen, brother. That's the curse.
That's
Thanks to Prime Pain.
that's honestly that it sucks sometimes how well a lesson goes, and then you're like, what happened? Why didn't I? So are you gonna play some more games today, or?
I'm actually gonna head out now. I'm gonna go get a pump session in. Are you gonna keep streaming?
Oh my god, the dogs really didn't like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going. I have another PogChamps lesson later, so
Okay, cool.
we'll
Then
roll on.
I'll toss the stream your way then when I head out.
Appreciate that.
Thanks to Tier 1
All right,
Bully
man.
Bully.
I'll set up this group chat and get the ball rolling.
Hey, it sounds great to me, man. I appreciate it. You have a great stream.
All right, and you have a great pump session.
Alright, take it easy, man. See ya.
See you.
That was good. That felt really nice. That Vienna is pretty intuitive. I think that's great. Alright, everyone. I'll do Rust later tonight, I think. Work on phase 2 of the maze. And that'll be the plan. So I'll be back in it's 3 p.m. right now. I'll be back around 8. So about 5 hours-ish. Around 5 hours. Thanks everyone for tuning in. To everyone who donated, a big thank you. New subs, welcome aboard. The sub means a lot to me, so thank you very much for subbing. And that competition between Prophet and Grapefruit, thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't give a proper thank you. It's just I was trying to pay attention to the lesson and everything, so I hope you understand. But it really does mean a lot to me. Thank you for the generosity, and I will toss you to Levy. Okay. Oops. Alright, thanks again, everyone. Take it easy. See you tonight. See ya. Thanks to Resub Scottish.